Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Tiffany. So today I have a human design related topic. Specifically, I wanted to talk about communication in relationships and how human design can help us understand our partners better or help us understand how to improve our communication. So when it comes to human design and communication, what we really need to be looking at is the throat energy center. So if you go pull your human design body graph chart, and I can give you a link below on where to get that chart for free. If you take a look at the throat energy center, it's going to give you clues as to how you are designed to speak, and it also will give you clues as to how your partner or other people in your life are designed to communicate as well. And before I get into all of the details, I just want a little disclaimer. I'm speaking about this topic at a very high level, and there's obviously lots of nuances that I can't get into unless I'm really looking at somebody's chart and their specific dynamics, or I'm looking at two charts side by side. But I think this information will be enough to kind of help give you a sense for what you should be looking at in your charts and what that essentially means when you're looking at the throat energy center and how it is defined or undefined in your chart. All right, so first I'm going to talk about the open throat energy center. So when you have an open throat energy center, it means that the square at the top of the body graph chart is not colored in. It is white, okay? And before I get into what it means, I just want to provide a little context if you're new to human design. When you have these energy centers, the squares, the triangles in your chart, when there's color, it means that you have consistent access to that energy. You have a buffer to the outside world. You have your own gifts and talents. The energy from that center is going to express itself in a very consistent way, in a way you can rely upon. When you have an open or white energy center, it means that it's more like an antenna, right? It's taking in energy from the outside world. It's sensitive to what's going on and picking up on things. So when we have an open throat energy center, what it generally means is that this person lacks a consistent way that energy is going to be expressed through the voice. But they are really designed to be a voice for other people. They are designed to change their voice or change the way they share information based on their audience and who's in front of them. And so the beauty of having an open throat energy center is these people can communicate information in different ways to different people so that it's understood. Challenges associated with having an open throat energy center is, number one, these individuals are not necessarily here to speak a specific truth, their own truth, right? They're really designed to remain silent until they're recognized or invited to speak, or until they're invited to share something. Because if the open throat person starts speaking and sharing advice, a lot of times what will happen is that their voice or their message is not going to be as well received. And so it's really important for this person to see themselves as someone who is here to witness conversations. And even when they feel a pressure to speak, it's better if they can be the listener and hold space for other people until they are asked to respond, or until they are asked to share something from their perspective. So how can this information be helpful to us when it comes to relationships? Well, first of all, when we're thinking about relationships, when you have an open throat energy center and there's an argument or a conflict, the open throat energy center person is going to want to stick with objective statements about what is going on. Ideally, in a perfect world, they are going to want to rise above the argument and see it from a really objective lens and express what they are witnessing. So for example, they want to avoid statements like, I feel this way, or I think this or that. And instead they will want to say things like, okay, I'm understanding that you and I disagree on XYZ, or I hear what you're saying, this is hurtful to you, or this is bothering you, and just making statements that are more objective and showing understanding or needing to understand more about what is going on objectively. So the more this open throat person can rise above when it comes to conflict and operate and speak from that place, the better. The other thing is that we should understand, if somebody in our life has an open throat energy center, it may be difficult for them to say things on demand, and they're not always going to be able to represent their own opinions, thoughts, and feelings, right? Because there are no channels connecting to the throat energy center. So if they're trying to express emotion, if they're trying to express how they feel about something, it might come out a little bit clunky. They may even struggle for the right words on how to say something. It would benefit a open throat energy center person to lean into physical touch, hugging, silence, or being present. And if you have an open throat energy center, or your partner has an open throat energy center, keep in mind that inviting them to share things is going to be really key. So, for example, if you have the open throat energy center, but your partner doesn't, maybe you want to express, hey, let me know when you're ready for my perspective, or when we get into these conversations, it'd be helpful for me to know when you want me to share my thoughts, you want me to share my feelings, you want me to share my opinions about things. And then likewise, if you have a defined throat energy center and your partner has an open throat energy center, you will want to understand that they may not be designed to just speak about what they want or what's going on with them, and don't assume that they are going to read your mind and know when you want them to share that opinion. Make sure to ask them, like, hey, what do you think? Because the more you can get in the space of, I'm interested in what's going on with them, I want their advice, I want their perspective, I want their feelings on this matter, the more easy communication is going to be between the two of you. Even if the stuff coming out of the open throat energy center person is a little clunky at first, you are approaching them with the understanding that I'm asking them for their opinion, and I'm going to hear what they have to say and understand that it may not be the best representation of them, what they're exactly feeling in that moment, but I can help them get there. But I really want to close this out by saying, if you have an open throat, or somebody in your life does, it doesn't mean you should never talk, okay? And it doesn't mean that they aren't here to express their truth in some way. It just means that through the voice, it may just be a little more challenging for them to express their truth. They're really designed to express their truth through other modalities, such as writing, poetry, body movement, dance, art, and it doesn't even have to be traditional art. So they're designed to share their truth in different ways. Please don't take this as I should never speak and I should always be silent. But what you want to do is pay attention. When I do speak, am I being heard? And if I'm not being heard, was I invited to speak? And start having that understanding and grace with yourself. But then also, when it comes to relationships, it would be useful for an open throat person, when they're really wanting to share their feelings, to do it in another modality, like in writing, for example. So if your partner has an open throat, maybe ask them to take the time when they are feeling up to it to write down all of their feelings, to write down what their experiences are. And I think that will be very helpful in getting communication across in the best way possible. So next, I want to talk about the defined throat energy center. So in a nutshell, when you have a defined throat energy center, it means that you are designed to speak your truth through the voice in some way. And the way that we understand how the person in our life with the defined throat energy center is meant to speak consistently is by looking at the channel connections in the chart. And I will get to a few examples here in a second. But before I do, I want to just mention that I do have on my blog descriptions of all the channels. And I also have an ebook with the channels. And I also have a cheat sheet with the channels and what those descriptions are. So if you are interested in grabbing those so that you can understand, I'm going to link my website below and you'll be able to find all of those things there. Okay, so let's talk about the challenges that a defined throat energy center person is going to have. So the way they speak is going to be pretty consistent. And so they're not going to be able to shift their voice as much to accommodate and share information in a way that everybody's going to understand it necessarily. So they may encounter scenarios where they feel like they're misunderstood, and this can be the downside of having that defined throat energy center, especially when you're speaking your truth, because when we're misunderstood and we're really trying to speak our truth, it can sometimes be a little, I don't want to say traumatic, but it can be really hurtful at times. When it comes to relationships, the defined throat energy center person is designed to speak their truth in a very specific way. And so we need to extend grace and understanding when they are sharing things from energy centers that they do not have connected to the throat energy center. So in this first example, you'll notice that the throat energy center is connected to the Ajna energy center, but there's no connection to the solar plexus. So the Ajna energy center is the mind center. It's about opinions, it's about point of view. And so what this suggests is that this person is designed to share their opinions, their point of view, their perspective on things effortlessly. It's going to easily flow out of them. However, when it comes to expressing their feelings and what's really articulating what's going on with them from an emotional perspective, because they don't have that connection to the solar plexus energy center, which is the emotional center, they may need some grace and understanding when they are trying to share their feelings or emotional experiences. In scenario 2 here, we have throat connection to the splenic energy center with channel 1648, but no connection to the sacral. So what this essentially means is this person is designed to speak from their instincts, from a place of survival intuition. They're going to be able to quickly tell you, this feels right, this doesn't feel right to me, is this thing worth it, is it not worth it? And so they're going to be best heard when they're invited to share their intuitive insights about something. So if you're talking to somebody who has this splenic energy center connection, you might want to ask them questions like, hey, like what's your intuition telling you about this situation that we're dealing with? You know, what's your quick hit about it? But because this person does not have a connection to the sacral energy center, they might be really inconsistent when they talk about their work, what they love to do, or even just talking about relationships and bonding in general. They may struggle to consistently represent themselves and their experiences on that. And then in scenario 3, we have a throat energy center connection to the ego energy center, but we do not have a connection to the G center. So in this scenario, this individual is here to express what they want. So when you have a connection to the ego energy center, they may speak very often using the word I, and they may talk about themselves a lot, and it may feel like it's self-serving, and they may even rub people the wrong way because they are talking about themselves a lot. It's, I want this, I'm doing this, those sorts of things. And the challenge with this one can be that other people may shut them down when they're talking because they may say, stop talking about yourself, but this is how they're designed to share. So extending that grace to them, if they have this channel connection in their chart and they say I a lot, and maybe it feels like the communication is a little more centered on them, understand that this is how they're designed to express themselves, and understand the difference between when they're talking about what they're doing and it serves a bigger purpose than them, and they're helping other people, it's serving the collective in some way, versus the eyes coming from a more selfish place. The whole idea behind having this channel connection to the ego center is the high expression of it is going to be when they are able to take this energy and make it serve the greater good in some way. All right, and then because they don't have a channel connection to the G center, the G center is the identity center. It's about love of life. It's about knowing your direction in life. So this person, while they may talk about themselves and what they're really into at the moment, they may still struggle about speaking about their purpose in life, which direction they are meant to go. Because when you have an open G center, you're not really designed to box in your life purpose. You're meant to be a little more flexible and fluid. You're meant to spend time in places or environments that feel energetically correct for you. So when you don't have this connection to the G center, they may struggle to articulate, like if you ask them, well, what's your purpose, or what what do you think you're here to do in life, or what direction do you think you need to go? They may really struggle to answer that question. And again, this is an opportunity to extend grace, because they won't be able to answer that question probably. So this was my quick run through of things you want to consider when it comes to communication in relationships as it relates to human design. If you have any questions, let me know.